like, comment, subscribe. What's up, y'all? It's the main event. Yeah. Y'all already know. Ooh, that was kind of close. I'm not even gonna lie. That was kind of close. Yeah, my tongue is I had these I just had a hoop run, so I had these EAAs, and wait, no free promotion here. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. Well, anyway, I just finished just had a hoop run, but earlier I finished chapter 1 of Trails Through Daybreak. And wow, it was an amazing chapter. I really enjoyed it. It really built upon the world, the characters. It was really awesome. So let's just jump right into it. So it really started off with some guild requests from the previous chapter. The same guy, Zin the Immovable, wanted to give basically wanted us to handle his light work. So we went and did that, and then Elaine, I believe that's her name. She saw that Agnes is working with Van now, and then she's like, explain yourself now. Like, they have a history going on. I remember at Trails of Reverie, that in one of the daydreams that they do have a history, Van and Elaine. I have to really reread it again. It's been a little while, and I've been busy, so but yeah, they do have a history. So but yeah, that was funny. She's like, explain yourself now. It's like, dang, okay. But anyway, after all the guild request stuff is done, nothing really major. There's the unpleasant, there's the pleasant man that turns into the unpleasant man because he's really like a hustler. That was kind of funny. But this young girl ends up following y'all, and Van notices because, you know, he's a Spriggan. That's what he does. And of course he catches her, and come to find out her name is Freya. She is 13 years old. 13. And she's a Kruger warrior, which is kind of like they're a Jaeger Corps, and she sought for Van's help because one of her friends went missing after a battle that they had with another Jaeger Corps. Upon their return, her friend Ida, I think Ida, I think Ida went missing with her unit, and so she, on her own, traveled a great distance to seek Van's help in order to help him out and find her friend, who she views like a sister to her. We finally get to see Van's vehicle, and man, it is a beautiful blue truck, and you get to ride it a little bit, but then you see this bus gets attacked, and of course Van, being Van, is like, okay, like, we'll go help them. And then he ends up hustling them to be like, okay, well, technically because of us you guys survived, so you know, kind of let's work out a deal here. So, you know, he's doing his hustle thing that he's been doing. Van's been hilarious throughout this game. He has been hilarious throughout this game. I will give him that. And he's quickly becoming my favorite protagonist in this series. I got a lot of love for Reen because I love Reen's whole story arc, you know. But I'm really liking Van a lot. But anyway, when they finally do reach the town, one of the towns anyway that they suspected upon brainstorming that she might have went to, they went to gather intel. And one of the main things that kept popping up is that the animals were acting up. Even when they attacked the bus, the animals were not quite themselves. There's something about them. It's like that they said that they were fearful or whatever. And upon gathering more intel, you found out that Ada was spotted at night frequently. And so buying supplies but not food, which is kind of like, okay, why are you going? You know, they're not going to steal crops because that's not the way their organization works. So it's kind of like, well, why are you buying like wire and, you know, gasoline and all this stuff? Regardless, we run into Enforcer number 8. And to anyone that's played Trails for a while, you pretty much know what that is. Ouroboros, the society. And Van throws a fit. He does not like this man. He's like, what the heck is he doing here? Why would you show your face to me? He just starts going crazy. And it's just like, okay, like they must have some sort of history. Come to find out, him and Van and the Dire Wolf, Enforcer number 8, work together, and they in order to destroy one of the mechs, the soldats, I believe one of the more advanced soldats, he ended up having to pick up his truck and throw it, and he destroyed the truck. And so Van held a grudge ever since. And so he was talking about how it was like 2 years it took me to put that thing together. And so, like, I mean, the dire wolf got him another one, but it wasn't the same, because, you know, you put that 2 years into your baby, and, you know, you just can't do that. And then Freya was like, it's really funny, well, it's like, I'm sorry for your loss. And he's very passionate about his vehicles, which is hilarious to me. Anyway, they run into this mint-haired guy who's very flamboyant. His voice actor reminds me of the guy from Yeast 9, Monstrum Nox, the bartender. Might be the same voice actor. I don't know. I'm gonna look that up. But very flamboyant, like very extra. And you know, you think nothing's really amiss, but Enforcer number 8's looking for him. So if he's looking for him, it's got to be for a good reason, right? I mean, why would you go after this seemingly harmless man? Anyway, they find Ada. Ada tells him to stay back, and then those hounds are summoned, and they're clearly possessed with something, and she makes a run for it, and then, you know, we have to fight all of them, and then we have our little small dungeon that we go through, which was not really a dungeon. I mean, you're going through the forest and everything, but combat was a lot of fun too. I'll say that I'm really enjoying the combat, getting more used to the battle mechanics, at least the field mechanics, which is really not that difficult. A lot of it just consists of dodging, attack, dodging, attack, dodge, and then using your charge attack. So you know, it's getting kind of simple with that, but it's still a lot of fun with that. So eventually we reach the end of the forest, and they're all they see all the Jaeger soldiers like tied up, and Ada's right there with gasoline everywhere, and you can tell what's about to happen. She's basically about to kill herself and everyone else, because they were killed, but then they were brought back to life using one of the second Genesis thing. And then you find you know, what's her name? Anya's gives a good long speech, and I'll give her the defining moment where it's like, you know, you have to consider Freya's feelings, and you know, you got to keep fighting, and, you know, all the good lovey-dovey stuff, right? About, you know, about friendship and all that feel-good stuff. And you know, Van makes a funny comment like, you give her a mile, now she runs the place. Well, anyway, as she starts to come to her senses, you see the mint-haired man appear. And I don't even know how to say his name. I'm not even gonna pretend like I know how to say his name. But he appears, and he's the one who really caused all this. So he's not just a harmless individual. He is a threat that needs to be dealt with. Anyways, you end up having a boss battle. We defeat them, but then he's like, okay, that's impressive. I want to see it again. I want an encore. And so, like, he brings them back to life again. And Ada, who wasn't killed the first time anyway, because she survived the whole ordeal, and she starts becoming possessed and, you know, really overpowered. And he's about to attack Anya's and Freya, or maybe it was just Freya, I can't quite remember. But anyway, he comes in, and I don't want to stab myself, and he like protects them, but you know, he ends up getting really injured. And then Freya was like, well, why would you do that for us? And he's like, in typical Van Bass, he's like, I can't let a client or, you know, an associate get harmed. You know, crap's bad for the brand. You know, just how he comes up with the stuff off the top of his head, even though like he could possibly die now. It's just that's Van for you. Like I said, I love his character. Anyway, time freezes again, and then Mare, which is part of your Zypha unit, comes to life once again. We're not really explaining the purpose of the Zypha, or, well, we know the purpose of it, but of Mare and how she's able to do this sometimes, become like a person, and then she's just AI the other time. But anyway, you become Grendel, once again, Van and Grendel, and you have a boss battle with Freya by your side also. So it's you two versus Ada, who becomes a monster. And then when you think like everything's all done, it's like, okay, Ada's down. It's like, okay, Freya's talking to her, and I'm like, oh, or Fairy. Did I say Fairy? It's Fairy. Why did I say her name wrong this whole video? Oh man. Anyway, they're talking, and then she's like, well, no, I'm not gonna make it, basically. And she must have been too injured from the fight. And then of course, Fairy's dad and one of the commanders of the Jaeger unit show up late, of course. They always have to show up late. And Ada has a dying wish. And it's like she wants Fairy to kill her. And her dad's like, do it. Like, that's her dying wish. Like, she's gonna die, like, do it. Like, that's Europe. If you want to be a Kruger warrior, this is the realities of it. And she gets the knife, and she's crying, of course. She's 13 years old, and she just can't do it. And she's like, I can't kill you. And so then Van steps in and's like, hey, this is too much for a 13-year-old girl to handle. And he's like, I'll do it. And so and I guess this is where, remember in the previous I said that about his weapon, it's like he says there's a trick to make the edge come out. I guess when you see if you watch the vandalizing raid short that I put out, after he does all the punches and grabs it, like, the sword turns a different color. I guess that's when the edge comes out, and that's when it's sharp, and that's when it can kill. Anyway, you see him do that, and then the screen kind of flashes, and then you just see, he stabbed and killed her. And he stabs her and kills her, and it was very, very emotional, very sad scene and everything. And then of course a couple days later, they're just kind of recapping the events, and Fairy joins you, and Anya's is the one who invites her on the team, and now Van's like who said that you could call the shots, basically. It's like he's losing control of his own brand. It's hilarious. But that was basically the recap of chapter 1. I'll take more detailed notes on the next chapter. I know this one I really didn't do that. But I will take more detailed notes as I go on, because now I'm going a lot on memory. So and I want to give you all the best. Well, not the best. I mean, shoot, I'm just an NPC, guys. Like, I'm just trying my best with what I'm limited to. There's other people that know way more than me about this series and whatnot. I'm just doing my best. But a couple things I want to point out. First of all, I'll say the character of this chapter is not Fairy, but Anya's. She's really inspirational. Like, even lifting up Fairy, and even she made a quote where she's like, when there's a will, there is a way. And if you don't have a will, like, we'll have the will to find your way, or something creative like that. And I thought that was really cool. And overall, she really seems like she's already quickly established herself as like the backbone of, Arc Ride Solutions. I mean, of course it's the Van show, but she's really the one that's organizing stuff and is more of the level-headed, where Van is the more street smart Spriggan that, it's been a perfect balance so far. Now, also that ending about Van killing Ada, it reminded me so much of, if you ever played a game called Tales of Vesperia. If y'all remember the Don, right? The Don, he got, I can't quite remember what. He violated a rule for, what were they called? What were those groups called? Guilds. He violated one of the rules for the guild. And, so one of his own had to kill him. And, Carol couldn't do it. So Yuri ended up being the one that did it. And it kind of reminded me, I know it was completely different context, but it kind of gave me some Tales of Vesperia kind of vibes from that. But theological implications. This cannot go I have to mention this. So she calls the goddess Arusha, I believe. I didn't write it down. Arusha. And Van makes a very interesting comment. He's like, you know, in some cultures, the goddess is called by a different name, whether it's Adios or Arusha, but it's the same god. And it's interesting because, like, they all seem to be aware that they worship the same goddess, the same deity, even though they call them by different names and maybe have different practices. You'll see this a lot today, even, where you'll hear about religions, like we all worship the same God. Every religion has a piece of the puzzle, or we worship the same God, but we just call him different things, whether it's Yahweh or Allah or, you know, whatever it might be, Krishna. And of course, I strongly disagree with that as a, you know, a Christian Bible-believing believer. But I'm really interested to see, like, what is the role of the goddess in this game? Like, from Cold Steel to Reverie, even into here, like what is the true goal? Like what is, like, the goddess? Yeah, she has the holy beast and everything, and the whole thing with Zeit and everything. But like, I wonder, like, how much they're gonna push, like, the divine. Like how far they're going to go with it. Like, are we ever going to interact with the goddess? Is the goddess ever going to physically manifest? Like, things I'm really, really wondering about. And you know, it's going to be really interesting. It's going to be really interesting going forward. But anyway, that's all I got to say about that. It was a fun chapter. I really enjoyed myself. If you haven't bought this game yet, I mean, I'm not a promoter, but you need to buy this game. This is a great game, no doubt. Even so far, if you've never played a Trails game, at least so far, it seems like you can come in and really not miss a beat. Like, you'll pretty much be able to follow everything. It's kind of like a good entry point so far. I could be completely wrong later, but as of right now, that seems to be the point, or that seems to be the case. Anyway, y'all, I am tired. I'm really tired. I've had a long week, a lot of basketball. My legs are burning, and this video's gone on long enough. I almost stabbed myself a couple times with this. I don't know what this writing says, but it's probably something dope. Or, you know, maybe it just looks dope, and, you know, I don't know. Can one of y'all read this? I'm sure one of y'all can. I don't want to stab myself. Anyway, that's all I got to say. It's the main event. You know, I got to steal something from Van, don't I?